Hello and welcome back to Blue Flag Bandits, the series that drives F1's worst car since 2010, so you don't have to, in the ever so desperate hunt for points. And it's episode 50. And not only that, it's my home race, the British Grand Prix of 2012 from Silverstone. And you join us in the HRT, as much as it's been all the way through 2012, obviously. And we've just come off the back of a European Grand Prix at Valencia, which actually, despite the result being 15th, and we lost a few places nearer the end and got beat by a Caterham, actually wasn't too bad a race whatsoever. A nice send-off for both Valencia and HRT's home races, because obviously HRT will no longer exist after 2012. This is their last hurrah, and we're pretty much halfway through this season. In that vein, we're halfway through this season, and we're 13th, about halfway through the championship. And that podium in Malaysia really has done us some favours, just to keep us in amongst the fight, still remaining 13th, while at the top end, Hamilton leads Alonso by 3 and Webber by 4. The top 3 fighting it out. Alonso taking victory, but Hamilton on the podium, Webber in 4th last time out. Has really kept them close. Button's even not that far behind, 23 back, which means he's less than a race win away from the lead. Vettel's in 5th, having a pretty poor defence of his 2011 title. Raikkonen in 6th after a poor start to the season on a bit of a comeback, but he's only just ahead of his teammate Grosjean by a point. Then Rosberg's in 8th, Maldonado 9th. No race-winning heroics in our 2012 so far, but 38 points on the board, still doing pretty well. Schumacher rounds out the top 10, just ahead of Perez. Massa really struggling, down in 12th. There I am, 13th, 13 points behind Massa, 3 clear of Kamui Kobayashi in the Sauber. Hulkenberg's 15th, then it's Ricciardo, Verne, Senna, De Resta, the rest of your point scorers. Then it's Kovalainen, Glock, Petrov, Peak, Dalla Rosa, and Kartikayan. If you see the end of race results, he's always included. The next round in Germany is where our teammate status is decided, so we might find out in the next round if Kartikayan takes seat number 2, if I'm deemed worthy enough to take Pedro's seat, although he's been faster in all but 2 rounds, all but 1 round actually this season so far. I can't get fast race laps, apparently. In the Constructors, we're 8th. 8 clear of Force India and Toro Rosso. But it's McLaren who lead the way, 20 clear of Red Bull, with Ferrari in 3rd. Then it's Lotus, Mercedes, Sauber, Williams, us, Force India, Toro Rosso. And then down at the other end, Caterham and Marussia yet to score, and unlikely to, even with Kovalainen taking that 14th spot in Valencia. So the season has been weird, I guess, is the best way to put it. That lap 1, everybody pits at Malaysia, giving us the opportunity to not only lead, but then take a podium, has really probably put a pretty high bar on where we should be performing this season. Last race in Valencia, no major mistakes. Couple of robust defensive moves, but no penalties for the first time since Spain. Don't know why. Spain, Monaco, Canada got a penalty in every single one. Spain, Monaco and Canada right at the death. Spain early doors, enough to be able to get out of the way and come back out. But we were clean and tidy in Valencia, fought hard, fought maybe slightly unfairly sometimes. But no pens, no damage, no spinning into the wall. One minor moment of rear end slip, but nothing too bad. But we come to Silverstone, a circuit that you'd think, being my home race, I'd be absolutely pumped for, but I don't know, I'm just not very quick in Silverstone. Even to this day, even to the modern day F1 games, the AI have always been pretty overpowered at the old airfield in Northamptonshire, and I've just never been able to keep pace with them. But there is a forecast that it's going to be wet quali and possibly even wet race, which might level the playing field, but I'm not holding my breath. So it's going to be imperative that we get on the track, get some practice laps in, and just try and get our way around this circuit driving this car. So let's go do that, shall we? And while we do, we'll talk about the real world 2012 British Grand Prix. The 9th round of the 2012 season brought F1 back to its spiritual home of Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. The build-up to the race saw both Caterham and Marussia bring significant upgrades to their car, Marussia describing theirs as their first major wind tunnel update after abandoning the CFD-led Focus. Marussia would, however, suffer a serious accident with their test driver Maria Di Vallota, who was carrying out a straight-line test at Duxford Aerodrome. She was removed from the car with life-threatening injuries, including skull fractures and the loss of her right eye. The first practice session saw limited running due to wet conditions, which hampered Pirelli's testing of an experimental hard tyre. Grosjean would set the fastest time ahead of Ricciardo and Hamilton, though some drivers elected not to set any times. The second session was also wet, Alonso and Senna both spinning out and hitting the walls during the session. Again though, some drivers elected not to set lap times, with Hamilton leading times ahead of Kobayashi and Schumacher. The final practice session saw a flurry of activity, as everyone looked to make up for lost time, though the session was held under a threat of rain throughout, because of course it was, it's Britain. Charles Pic would stop on circuit in the only major incident, while Alonso would top the timesheets. Qualifying was, much like Friday, run in wet conditions, every driver struggling for clear track space. It would be the usual suspects in the bottom six, but they were joined in the Q1 elimination zone by Jenson Button, who could only manage 18th after not getting in a clear lap. His final lap would have been good enough to see him through until a spinning Timo Glock brought out a yellow flag, meaning the Brit had to back off. Deluge hit the circuit during the second qualifying session, eventually being red flagged for 92 minutes after four drivers span off within a minute of each other. There were no major shocks once the session resumed, though the choice of wet or intermediate tyres could be the difference between being knocked out and getting into Q3. Perez chose the intermediates while he was top of the timesheets before the red flag, but ended up being the slowest driver in Q2. Q3 should have included Romain Grosjean, but he spun at the end of Q2 and would not be able to continue, leaving 9 drivers fighting for pole. It'd be Alonso who took that pole position with his final lap of the session, pipping Webber by less than a tenth of a second. Schumacher would take third, ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Before the race started, Vitaly Petrov's Caterham had come to an engine failure and would not be able to take the start, so it was 23 drivers that got away from the line, and Alonso was the one to get away clean, with Webber and Schumacher following suit. Vettel would get a poor start and fall behind Massa and Raikkonen, but he would at least repass the Finn later on in the first lap. The other Lotus of Grosjean would make contact with Paul di Resta, puncturing the Force India's tyre and sending him into a spin and out of the race. The race would settle down, with DRS passes being the order of the day. Perez and Maldonado would collide late on, and Maldonado tried to overtake at Brooklands. The Williams would clip the Sauber, sending Perez into a spin and damaging his front wing, a lap after he pitted for fresh tyres, therefore ruining the Venezuelan strategy. Alonso had led pretty much unchallenged until lap 50, when Webber began to range up to the back of the Ferrari. He was in DRS range with 3 laps to go, so Webber attacked along the Wellington straight and around the outside of Alonso, who defended on warm tyres. But the Spaniard wouldn't be able to keep the Red Bull behind, and Webber would take the lead with not long left. And that would be Webber's 9th and final F1 victory, with Alonso holding on to second place ahead of Vettel. Massa, Raikkonen, Grosjean, Schumacher, Hamilton, Senna and Button would complete the points-paying positions. What's the hope then for our home race? We've really not had a great time at Silverstone so far in this series, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Possibly not even for the entire series, just because of how OP the AI are here. We had a decent European Grand Prix though, and it feels like we're maybe getting just a little bit closer to those around us. That, plus the threat of rain, because Silverstone could see us make some big gains. I'm going to aim for at least 18th place in qualifying, but if the rain helps us out, we might be able to find our way further up the grid. Welcome to the garage then for qualifying at the British Grand Prix and a 92% chance of rain. Engineer Andy telling us it's going to be tough. I wanted to get the intro in quickly because there's due to be rain most of this session. If we get out quick, get some laps on the board on the dries, we might sneak into Q2.
Your last lap time moved you up to 5th.
Fairly poor first lap, but this is our fastest lap of qualifying. You can see the clouds already rolling in. It was a matter of time before there was rain, and we were just about able to get out and a lap in on the dries early. Fairly steady through the village and loop section, just somewhere I've never really been able to get a rhythm. But out onto the Wellington straight, heading down towards the old start-finish straight of this circuit. You can see we're 2.5 seconds up, but 1.1 seconds off Maldonado, who's currently pole, so it's not really representative of where we could be. Little chaotic into that corner there, but not too bad in the end, and down towards Cops. Car giving it everything, but Cops again, just somewhere we had to keep lifting off an awful lot more than we expected. Ran a little wide on exit, didn't compromise us too much. Into Maggots, Beckett's, and then into Chapel. Struggling to keep the front end getting into the corner, but we managed to come out of Chapel. Not too bad, no major issues there. Out onto the hanger straight, 2.8 seconds up on our best time, but nearly 3 off Maldonado. We know we're going to be struggling as we get into Stowe.
You need to pit within the next 2
waiting to get on the throttle because we're just constantly going wide, but we don't take too much curb on the exit. Into Vale and then into the final couple of corners. Again, it's really just a case of gunning it and hoping we get across the line and we make an improvement.
Rain out on track. It's starting to rain. Bad luck, you missed out on Q2 by 2 places. We're in 19th place.
And out we go in Q1. We got out early. We were on the bubble for a long period of time. Then the rain started coming down. The AI still somehow cutting round on dry tyres in these conditions. Ricardo, one of the people that was in the drop zone, manages to survive. We're joined by Michael Schumacher, who had a pretty bad qualifying, but we're ahead of Kovalainen, De La Rosa, Peak, Glock and Petrov. I mean, look at that. 2.1 seconds off the pace of Jean-Eric Verne. So we weren't getting through even if, unless everybody else could only set times in the wet. Lewis Hamilton finishes 4th. I wanted to draw your attention to him because he crashed out of that session, so probably won't be going any further unless the AI just decides to put him through, which might happen. He might still get to go. Obviously, we did something similar in Monaco in 2010, crashed out in Q1, but had already made a Q2 time and were allowed to compete. So who knows? We'll see what happens. But the session ends wet. We don't have the pace in the dry, but we're expecting there to be some wet weather in this race. Fingers crossed we can do something at home from P19 on the grid. Let's head to the race. Here we are then, in the garage for the British Grand Prix. There's a 52% chance of rain, which means we're going to get some, I'd assume, during the course of this race. This place, even though it's my home track, hasn't been particularly kind to me over the years. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can get a decent run of it here in mixed conditions. But we'll talk about that in a second. Let's look at the grid order for this one. Fernando Alonso takes yet another pole position ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Buttons in third with Massa fourth. Hamilton did get to compete in the rest of qualifying after crashing out in Q1, but he starts fifth ahead of Mark Webber. Di Resta with a good home qualifying session in seventh. Grosjean's eighth with Perez and Raikkonen completing the top 10. Then it's Maldonado, Ricciardo, Rosberg down in 13th, Verne 14th, and Senna, Hulkenberg, Kobayashi. Schumacher dropped out in Q1 with us in 18th. We're there 19th ahead of Kovalainen, Della Rosa, Peak, Glock, and Petrov. And it's 26 laps of this old airfield in Northamptonshire. And I don't know. I should really enjoy Silverstone. It feels like a circuit I should really like. It's fast, it's flowing, but I'm just never confident enough. Through like Maggots, Beckett's, Chapel, through Copse, not really confident. And the Village Loop, that section just after the start-finish straight, because this circuit has been in this sort of format since 2010. 2012, at least in game, really the first one to look how you'd expect it to look now with the Silverstone wing and everything else. So, this circuit is as it's going to be now for the rest of our series. And I'm no good here. We lost out to a Caterham in Valencia. We've lost out to Caterhams and even Marussia's and even Pedro Della Rosa before this season. And if you think about where we've been here in the last couple of years, that first year we only just beat Lucas Di Grassi, and last season wasn't really much better either. I think we beat the HRTs and I think the Virgin Marussia cars, but that's only because the Team Lotus car was the best of the bad bunch. This time, not so much. I think if we can hold on to P19, that would be a great result in itself. Maybe if we get weather hit us before we need to make our pit stop, and we can move straight onto the Inters, whereas others may have to resort to a two-stop with a dry tyre in first, then we might be able to gain some places that way. But I'm not hopeful. So let's go, take 26 laps of this circuit, and head over to the grid for the 2012 British Grand Prix. Alonso once again on pole. Red Bull next to him, then the McLaren just in behind there. We are directly ahead of Della Rosa. One light, two lights, three lights, four lights, and five. And away we go at Silverstone. Chrome tyres are going to be awful off the line. Kovalainen's through, Della Rosa's through, but we can squeeze back through the first corner. Pedro's going for a bit of a move. We tap Kobayashi and block out Schumacher a bit there. Again, much like we have in a few races this season, find a gap and exploit it. Webber's fallen down. The point where we can actually attack Mark Webber. We're past him. Looks like Valencia, P9. So the first few corners, and we'll block out Sergio Perez there. Trying to look for a move up the inside. They'll go into... No, we're going to say he's not going to go into Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, surely. A suicidal move. got the pace to go round me. Onto the home straight.
Put some pressure on him and try to get it back.
Follow him through Stowe. Assume that's the same we've gone now though. But we end the first lap P10. Championship protagonist behind us in Mark Webber. Senna there as well, trying desperately to get by. Get himself back in the points. Well, getting to the points, there he goes. We have no real grip because I'm on the primes. That only works as we've lost Webber from behind us. Raikkonen's there now. Strategy that only really works if the rain falls after when you'd expect the option tyre to run to. No, that's Hulkenberg. He's up and under. I'll get back to him in Stowe and wash wide. Locks Kimmy now. Keep Raikkonen behind us. Only just as well. Down to 23. I think we've lost somebody. Not sure who though. I think it was Webber actually.
The guys have looked at the figures. We think that Raikkonen will be stopping in 3 laps time. Raikkonen stopping in 3 laps time.
Oh, there goes Kimi Raikkonen. No defence then. Try and go around the outside of the fin. He's got me there, and Rosberg's going to have a go. At least hold the Mercedes off, but the retirement was, as I suspected, Mark Webber. One minute he was behind us, the next minute he was not. I think he's been collected and gone off into the wall. As you can see, there's on the minimap there's little queue of cars behind me, a gap, then Pedro Della Rosa, then another little queue of cars. Raikkonen's long gone. It's not going to be long before Rosberg goes as well. It's really going to be all about if and when it rains, whether I manage to get the jump on people, because I've started on the primes and managed to run longer. It's unlikely though, because everybody, as soon as they're past it, gone. And it's so much slower than the AI out there.
To increase the gap, you're within 1 second of the car behind. He will use DRS.
Oh, Rosberg's clipped the back of us and he's gone round. There's no Schumacher that's on the back of us. Rosberg only just getting going again as we run wide. Should have allowed Schumacher through without too much hassle. Nothing I can do to defend that. After running off the circuit. With the Mercedes for now, but we've got Vernon Ricciardo on us. The thing with the AI in these games, especially the earlier ones, there are some fairly certain moves they will not make.
We think the car behind is trying to save fuel.
There are other half moves that they'll go for and get themselves spun round. right through Cops. And isn't going to go for the move. Ricardo will be next. Australian doesn't get by. Don't give it long here though. Here goes Jean-Eric Verne.
Looking at the data, you're faster than the car ahead in Sector 3. Sector 3.
Ricardo doesn't make it through. Verne does, so we're down to 15th. I think we'll continue going backwards here.
You're on the slower tyre, but you're maintaining the gap to the car ahead, so we're very happy. This is good.
P14, somebody in the pits.
Verne should be pitting within the next 4 laps.
Not sure who it was, but somebody was in. Give Ricardo the easiest pass. Kobayashi's going to go as well. Yeah, just about going to hold mate. Once again, just sort of sitting in the middle of the road, hoping. Get a bit wide. It was like Kobayashi, but once again, just sweep around the front. Even De La Rosa's catching us at this time. Oh, there's the gravel. There goes Kobayashi.
Okay, it looks like the car ahead is trying to create a gap. He's running full revs.
Ricardo goes with him. And tap the back of the Toro Rosso there as he backs off into Cops. One of those rare occurrences, you know, where we're beaten by De La Rosa. By him in Australia because of our own mistakes, but I don't think we've been beaten by him since. Maybe Raikkonen at the pit early. Maybe he got damaged because it seems unscheduled. The fact that nobody else has come in yet. He's just got past De La Rosa, who's in the pits. Vettel that leads, actually, not Alonso. I think he leads by an awful long distance.
Looking at the radar, it looks like we might have light rain in about 15 minutes.
It's in about 15 minutes. Good for our strategy. Raikkonen goes through. A load of cars are coming in now, right? Be able to jump a couple back, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. Rosberg is going to be the next car to come challenge us, and I feel this time
okay, it looks like the car ahead is trying to create a gap. He's running full revs, maximum power. The car behind is running on the option tyre. They have the advantage.
We get a few places back. Bruno Senna currently leading the race.
The car behind has just fitted a set of prime tyres. Prime tyres.
So I think to the fact he stayed out, Schumacher out just ahead of us. I think we've got past Ricardo. What happens this time by? Got a few cars going in. Does go in. Correct, it was Kobayashi. Vern is also in, and we'll retake that place for now. Back up to P14. Just for a little while.
You're doing well. It's coming together for us. We're 4 places up on our predictions.
Jean and Vern again. Playing it too hard here. There's much
You're
point.
faster than the car ahead in Sector 3. Try to pass him.
Still yet to pit.
Radar suggests light rain in around 5 minutes.
Oh, the rain goes 5 minutes away. That's looking okay. We could attempt to extend and hope that we can be through to
You're within 1 second of the car ahead.
direct
Get ready to
switch
use
to
DRS
inters.
to overtake.
Of course, we get into weather conditions. Look at the traction Kobayashi's got. Off of Stowe, nearly goes clean around the outside without even knowing he's there.
We're losing a lot of time to the car behind. He's lapping much faster than you at the moment.
There's Kobayashi. I've got nothing to defend him with, really. He will try and go back around the outside. Runs wide there, though. Defensive. Ricardo's through. The next one.
We're starting to see light rain out on track. It's starting to rain.
Okay, so apparently we're raining now.
Pit in this lap. Come into the pit to the end of this lap.
Raikkonen's in the pits. Jump the Lotus. Now whether we try and run out a little longer. The rain becomes heavy enough for immediate conditions because those are okay.
Don't forget, pit in this lap.
What are we going to do? I think we're going to run this one out.
Intermediate tyres for next box. Intermediate tyres.
Another lap or two. See how the weather unfolds. Because if it starts to rain, and enough for inters, we're in the box seats. Or at least keep track position.
We think the car behind is running on full revs. He's trying to close the gap.
Rosberg likely to go past us at some point very, very shortly because I'm not particularly fighting hard. Bottom end of the order with tyres that have done a lot of laps. There goes Nico Rosberg.
17th place, 17th.
On that mini-map, see when others take the plunge. If they take the plunge. If not, we'll come in on the penultimate lap and switch to the options. So we've done our mandated with compounds. We've got a yellow flag, somebody's out. Yellow flag, somebody else, eh? Not out, no, somebody just off.
There's been a crash in Sector 3. Yellow flag conditions, no overtaking.
I think it's somebody behind us who's out, annoyingly.
The crash in Sector 3 has been cleared. Back up to racing speed in Sector 3.
A bit more treacherous. Nobody else coming in though.
Intermediate tyres confirmed.
Definitely somebody behind us. And this one, so 22, and we remain 17th. And everybody else staying out at the moment. The yellow flag's almost constant. They're struggling out there. The AI though will just continue on dry tyres. Maybe this late on. We've been lapped by Alonso there, so not long left to this one. Raikkonen is likely to pass us. Delarosa might get by us as well there.
Go now.
The yellow flags again in sector 2.
You have no more scheduled pit stops, so look after your tyres. The race officials have disabled DRS due to the weather
been
conditions.
disabled.
The computer is showing waved yellows in sector 2. No overtaking, and watch out for debris on the track.
Sector 2 through Baggots, Baggots and Chapel.
7 seconds is all that separates you and the car
Cars
ahead.
that are actually just full stop there at the moment. AI is struggling to a point where I think we'll catch and maybe even pass Delarosa. Pass in the pit lane now. I would rather struggle around on dry tyres. There's Pedro Delarosa and Kimi Raikkonen. We're back past them. Somebody's in the pits, although I assume that's more to do with damage because we saw that Delarosa was missing a front wing. Maldonado.
Brakes and tyres are at optimal temperature.
Closing up to Alonso, we're the only ones, I think. Maldonado probably now on Inters as well. It would be the only two cars on the right tyres at the moment. There is Pastor Maldonado. On the dries still.
There's one of the Ferraris ahead of you.
A little wide.
Someone's gone off in sector 2. We have waved yellows in sector 2.
Yeah, I know there's not long left in this one. They're really pushing.
Sector 2 is showing green. Back to racing conditions. Keep an eye out for any debris.
Being very careful to not push Fernando Alonso out there, but we've unlapped ourselves. We're back at the 16th. The way the AI can't seem to keep it on the road, we might gain a few more spots, you know. Might have all decided to come in now. They're all deciding to come in now. So we've got yellows out again. Delarosa's gone past Maldonado. Are we going to be close enough to get past Rosberg if he's in the pits now? They're all sort of tripping over each other. Really going too hard into that corner every lap. We are going to be close enough to jump Rosberg.
With 3
There's Michael
places above our
Schumacher.
expected result.
Or we lose the rear. Pushing too hard. Tim Rosberg got held up in the pits. Yellow's out again. Daniel Ricciardo, he's gone off. Up to 14th. As is often the case in Britain, a bit of rain has brought a bit of carnage. surrounding Rich all the way to the end now, at least. We're off. We have to wait. We have to wait for Rosberg to get past us.
We've been given a time penalty. It'll be added to your time at the end of the session.
Another 20-second penalty. Not entirely sure what I was meant to do in that situation.
The computer is showing waved yellows in Sector 2. No overtaking and watch out for debris on the track. Green flag. Sector 2 has been cleared of debris. Back up to rating speed.
Again. The AI aren't the only ones struggling. Me as well, as we get yellow again.
We're 5 seconds down on Rosberg. I think this might be our finishing position today, so don't take any risks. Bring the car home.
Well, at least it's going to be our last lap, because there goes Alonso. But I think we're going to lose out to Della Rosa.
Make way for the car behind.
What an insane last few laps it's been. The call for Inters at exactly the right time, and then right at the end of the race have kind of thrown it all away. Despite that, Della Rosa's going to beat us. Not entirely sure what else I could have done down here as Alonso takes the victory. That's how gentle you have to be through here. Across the line P16, but that isn't where we're going to finish. We take 18th, we lose 2 spots at the DAF. Well, that was the British Grand Prix. We finish 18th after that penalty behind Della Rosa for the first or second time this season, but the first time where we've not just been at the back on our own. It was Fernando Alonso who took the victory. Ahead of Lewis Hamilton, Grosjean gets on the podium. Massa's in 4th. What a comeback for him. Vettel 5th, and Hulkenberg, Button, Perez, De Resta and Senna taking the points. Schumacher's 11th ahead of Verne, Rosberg, Kobayashi, Ricciardo. There's Della Rosa. Maldonado, there we are with our penalty. Our, 4th this season? It's so easy to get them in this one. Kovalainen 19th, Raikkonen 20th, and it's Petrov, Peak, Glock and Webber, the drivers DNFing out of that one. And yeah, didn't really get to talk about our race. It was pretty poor for the most part, really just kind of letting people go. A lot of people much quicker than me, and then right at the DAF, switched to the wet tile, the Inters, at exactly the right time. We were ahead of Rosberg, we were ahead of Raikkonen, ahead of Rosberg and Ricciardo, and Maldonado. And then we span, and in doing so, we got a penalty for causing a collision. I don't really know what else we could have done. But the AI were having equally as many problems because Rosberg finished 13th. Kobayashi must have bent it somewhere as well. So we could have easily had a much higher finishing position. Finish where the team want us to, at least, I guess. But slightly disappointing. 18th place.
You've held on to 7th in the Drivers' Championship.
Again, Andy, absolutely not. We are not 7th. Fernando Alonso, though, takes the championship lead by 4 points from Lewis Hamilton. Webber slips further back to just outside of a race win in 3rd. Then it's Button, Vettel, Grosjean jumps his teammate. Raikkonen slips to 7th. Rosberg is 8th. Massa moves into the top 10 with that result. On a bit of a comeback is Felipe. Maldonado holds P10 ahead of Perez, Schumacher. We remain 13th, but we're now only a point ahead of Nico Hulkenberg and 3 clear of Kobayashi, who's 15th. It's Ricciardo, Di Resta, Verne, Senna. Your point scorers, Kovalainen, Della Rosa, who's up to 21st. Great job for him. Ahead of Glock, Petrov, Peak, and Kartikeyan, who may or may not appear. In the Constructors, McLaren extend their lead to 34 points ahead of Red Bull. Ferrari are 3rd. Lotus remain 4th ahead of Mercedes. Sauber at 6th. Williams are 7th. We've been shuffled to 8th, down to 9th, as Force India jump us by 2 points, but we're still 8 clear of Toro Rosso, Caterham, and Marussia without any points. And yeah, for a minute there, as we were getting close to the end of that race, unlapping ourselves on the intermediates much before everybody else, watching everybody spin off, thinking, you know what, might be on to a decent result here. All came tumbling down at the end. And again, another penalty for colliding with Daniel Ricciardo, much like Monaco. So that's 4 penalties in 5 rounds since Spain. And again, I don't know what else I could have done there, if I'm honest. Same as the one in Canada with Pastor Maldonado. Just I lost control, collected another car, and that's it. It's a 20-second penalty to me, which is a crying shame. I think 14th, maybe even 13th, could have been on the table there if we just kept it pointing in the right direction. Could have kept 16th as well if we hadn't spent the final lap spinning every which way. The intermediates, like driving on ice in 2012 for some reason. Maybe we could have gone full wet, but I don't think we would have been anywhere near as quick in the early phase of that drizzle. But that's 9 rounds down, 50 episodes down as well. Not the greatest way to end episode 50. But we move on to Germany, halfway point of the 2012 season. Hopefully you'll join me for that one. Thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, comment, do all the good stuff. You know the drill by now. I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now.